The arrogant laugh Lady Salksara sat on a high silver chair inside the Grand Council Hall of the Orlax Empire. Her long blue dress touched the marble floor, and her golden headpiece sparkled under the bright lights. Many alien leaders sat around her, but tonight all eyes were on one unusual guest, a human named Ethan Vale. Ethan stood alone in the center of the hall. He wore a simple black suit, nothing royal or powerful, just a calm face and sharp eyes. Behind him, 2 alien guards held energy spears, ready to push him down if he made one wrong move. Lady Salksara leaned back, crossing her legs. She laughed, softly first, then louder, until the sound bounced off the high walls. "Look at him," she said to the other diplomats. "A fragile human, thinking he can bargain with the Orlax Empire. Do you know what we do with weak animals like him?" The hall filled with quiet giggles and a few louder laughs, a giant alien with green scales. Lord Vernick slammed his cup on the table and growled, "We break them, my lady. We break them and teach their children to fear us." Ethan did not move. He just listened, letting the laughter hit him like cold rain. When Lady Salksara finally stopped, she leaned forward, her eyes like ice. "Speak, human," she said. "Beg me for mercy. Maybe I will give your pathetic species a smaller cage." The guards chuckled, poking Ethan's shoulder with the spears. But Ethan stayed calm. He looked straight at Salksara. His voice was soft but strong. "You think humans are weak because we do not scream for blood. You think kindness is weakness. But one day you will remember my words. Lady Salksara." She raised one perfect eyebrow. "And what words are those? Human pet?" Ethan smiled. A small, sharp smile. "One day you will beg me." The hall went silent. For a moment no one laughed. Then Salksara threw her head back and roared with laughter again. Her jeweled rings clapped against her throne. "Take him away," she ordered. "Chain him up with the other human slaves. Teach him what power looks like." The guards dragged Ethan out of the hall, but he did not fight. He walked with his head held high. The other leaders whispered to Salksara, asking if she feared rebellion. She waved her hand like brushing away dust. "Rebellion? Humans have no claws, no teeth, no fire. They live only because we allow it. Nothing will change." Outside the hall, deep in the shadows, a young alien slave watched Ethan being taken away. She pressed a hand to her heart and whispered, "He is not like the others." Hours later, Salksara rested inside her royal ship. Giant windows showed the stars moving slowly as the ship flew above a human slave camp. She sat on a soft velvet couch, sipping sweet wine. Her favorite pet dancer entertained her, moving with grace and fear. Salksara turned to her captain, a tall armored guard named Threk. "Bring more humans tomorrow," she said. "We need stronger backs for building the new weapons factory." Threk bowed low. "As you command, my lady." Salksara laughed again, remembering Ethan's calm face. She mocked his words aloud. "One day, you will beg me." She shook her head. "Humans do not make queens kneel. They bow. Always." In a dark corner of her ship, hidden behind engine panels, a small group of humans whispered plans. One had a broken chain around his wrist. Another held stolen wires and an old map. "Tonight is the night," said one rebel. "We free our people. We free Ethan. And we show them that humans are not weak." They pressed their hands together in a silent promise. Above them, Salksara laughed for the last time without fear. Tonight, her laughter would break. And somewhere, deep in his cold prison cell, Ethan opened his eyes and whispered to the shadows, "It begins." The sudden betrayal inside her royal ship, Lady Salksara slept soundly on a wide silk bed. Guards stood outside her door, armored from head to toe. Her ship, the Imperial Grace, drifted above a large human slave camp on the brown desert planet below. Fires burned in the camp and human prisoners worked through the night, dragging heavy stones and metal beams to build a new weapon factory for the Orlax Empire. Far below, hidden inside a broken storage shed, a small group of humans and a few alien defectors gathered close around a stolen map, Their faces were dirty, their clothes torn, but their eyes burned bright with hope. A young human engineer, Lara, pointed at blinking red dots on the map. This is where the main power grid feeds the ship's shields. We blow it, the shields drop. We storm in and get Ethan out. We take Salksara alive. One old alien with scars across his neck whispered, "Take her alive. She will kill you all. She is poison." Lara's hands shook, but her voice stayed firm. She called us weak. Tonight, we show her human weakness burns hotter than her empire's pride. Above them, the Imperial Grace hummed with silent power. In the main control room, Captain Threk checked the screens, bored. He trusted his crew completely. He trusted Salksara even more. But he did not know that one of his most loyal lieutenants, a tall alien named Zol, was no longer loyal. Zol's wife was once taken by Salksara's orders, sold as a servant, beaten, forgotten. Tonight Zol remembered everything. Zol tapped commands into a hidden console, shutting down cameras near the power core. He hid a tiny bomb behind the main energy coil, then calmly walked back to the bridge and saluted Threk. Back in the cell block deep inside the ship, Ethan sat chained to the wall. His face was bruised, but his eyes were sharp. He heard footsteps. Lara and 3 rebels in stolen guard armor. They knelt beside him, cutting the chains. "They said you'd never break," Lara whispered. Ethan smiled through blood on his lip. "Did they say you'd come?" Lara pressed, a finger to her lips. "Quiet, on my mark, everything burns." It started with one loud bang. The bomb Zol planted exploded inside the main coil. Lights flickered, then went dark. The ship's shields dropped like falling glass. Human prisoners in the camp below saw the blinking ship above and screamed in secret joy. Tonight the sky belonged to them. Inside the Imperial Grace, chaos filled the hallways. Guards shouted orders. Weapons buzzed alive. Alarms screamed through metal walls. Zol, still wearing his uniform, shot 2 loyal guards before they knew what happened. Captain Threk roared orders over the ship's comms. "Protect Lady Salksara. Kill every rebel." But fear crawled through his mind when another bomb exploded in the armory. Stolen weapons hidden for months by defectors now spilled into rebel hands. Salksara woke to the smell of smoke. She jumped up, eyes wide. Her door burst open. 2 rebels rushed in, weapons drawn. Salksara raised her hand to command them to kneel, but they fired stun rounds. She fell back onto her silk pillows, too shocked to scream. Lara and Ethan dragged her half-conscious body through the burning hallways. Human rebels covered their escape, fighting loyal guards with stolen rifles and bare fists. Each blast, each scream, proved humans could bleed an empire's pride in. One night, Captain Threk saw them dragging Salksara towards an escape shuttle. Rage burned in his throat. He ran after them, his heavy boots echoing on the metal floor. He fired his rifle, hitting a rebel in the back. But Ethan turned, eyes cold like steel. In one motion, he grabbed a fallen gun and fired 3 perfect shots. Threk fell, clutching his throat. Salksara opened her eyes for a second, seeing Ethan's face above hers, cold and full of power. Fear crawled under her skin like poison. "I will kill you all," she hissed weakly. Ethan bent close, whispering against her ear, "Remember your laugh? Now remember mine." He pressed a button. The shuttle doors closed, sealing her inside with her new masters, the same weak humans she had once mocked. Outside the windows, the mighty Imperial Grace burned bright like a falling star, screaming through the sky above the slave camp. Humans raised their chained hands and cheered as the Empire's pride fell to human fire. Inside the shuttle, Lady Salksara, the proud diplomat, felt the cold bite of metal cuffs. Ethan sat across her, weapon resting on his knee. She had laughed at him once. Now the only sound was the thunder of rebel victory outside, and the chains rattling at her wrists. The night of betrayal was complete, but for Lady Salksara the real nightmare had just begun. Chains of pride, the stolen shuttle sliced through the black sky, leaving the burning ruins of the Imperial Grace behind. Inside, the smell of smoke and sweat mixed with a thick silence. Salksara, the once glorious alien diplomat, now sat tied to a metal chair in the middle of the small cabin. Her wrists and ankles ached under tight cuffs. Every shake of the shuttle made her bruises throb. Across from her, Ethan Vale rested his rifle on his knee. He did not look at her as he cleaned the weapon, but she could feel his eyes burning holes in her pride every time she dared to lift her head. Lara sat near the pilot seat, whispering codes into the comms. Each whisper called hidden rebel bases, telling them the impossible had happened. Lady Salksara, the Empire's loudest voice, was now their prisoner. Salksara tried to speak. Her throat was dry, her voice cracked but still carried a hint of command. "Release me now. My people will come. For me. They will crush your little rat's nest. You will beg for mercy at my feet." Ethan did not stop cleaning the rifle. He only said, "No one is coming for you. They already left you for dead." Her lips trembled for a second, but she laughed, bitter and sharp. "Lies. You think you can break my mind? My empire stands for 10,000 cycles. You are insects, scratching iron." Lara turned in her seat, anger burning her tired eyes. "You called my brother an insect too. I buried him last winter. He died building your weapons. Now you are in chains and my people are free." Salksara spit on the floor near Lara's boots. "You think this changes anything? My fleet will find you. They will burn your planet to ash just to show the next fool what happens to traitors." Suddenly, the shuttle dipped. Alarms beeped, pulling everyone's attention. Lara grabbed the controls. Ethan stood up, rifle ready. "Pirates?" he asked. Lara squinted at the radar. "No. Empire scout drones. 3 of them." Salksara smirked, licking her dry lips. "I told you, they come for me. You will all die for this insult." Ethan's stare cut her smirk in half. "They're not here to save you. They're here to erase the proof you ever fell into human hands." Salksara's mouth fell open slightly. She turned her eyes to the window just in time to see the drones, firing bright red lasers at the shuttle's wing. Metal hissed, sparks flew, alarms screamed louder. The shuttle twisted hard, throwing Salksara against her cuffs so hard she gasped in pain. Lara fought the controls with white knuckles. "Hold on, hold on!" Ethan strapped himself in, then grabbed a small metal collar from a locker. He moved fast to Salksara. "What are you doing? Don't touch me!" she screamed, fighting him, but bound and weak, she was nothing before his iron hands. He locked the collar around her neck. A tiny red light blinked alive. "What is this?" she spat. "Insurance," Ethan said calmly. "Try to run. Speak to your fleet or betray us again. It will stop your heart in 5 seconds." Her breath caught. She tried to hide her fear behind anger. Barbarian, beast, filthy. The shuttle rattled again. Ethan turned away from her, opened the side hatch and aimed his rifle into the void. Wind screamed through the cabin as he fired at the chasing drones. 2 rebels held his belt so he didn't get sucked out. Bright blue plasma bolts clashed with the drone lasers. Lara steered hard to the left, dropping low into the clouds. 1 drone smashed into a cliff and exploded in white fire. The second took a bullet to its camera eye and spun out of control. The third fired a desperate shot that grazed the shuttle's tail, but then it vanished behind the mountain fog. Inside the shuttle, everyone panted, alive, but only just. Salksara, chest rising and falling fast, felt the cold metal of her collar burn her skin. For the first time since she sat on her silver throne, she knew real fear. Not fear of losing a debate or a trade route. Fear of becoming a piece on someone else's chessboard. The shuttle finally landed deep inside a hidden canyon, far below. Old mining tunnels now turned into rebel caves. The moment the hatch opened, rebel soldiers rushed forward, weapons ready. They saw Salksara, chained and collared, and a cheer broke through the night. They touched her hair, spat near her feet, called her monster, witch butcher. Salksara hissed and fought against their hands, but the collar's tiny needle pricked her neck. Her vision spun until she fell quiet. Ethan stood behind her, watching the once mighty diplomat dragged through dirt and smoke like a prisoner of war. "One," a rebel whispered to another. "She thought we were weak." The other answered, "Now she wears our chains." Deep inside the caves, a steel cell waited for Salksara. Walls of rough stone and cold metal bars, a dirty blanket on the floor. No throne. No jewels. As the door slammed shut behind her, Salsara pressed her forehead against the bars. Her pride screamed inside her chest. She wanted to laugh at these filthy humans. She wanted to call her fleet. But in the darkness, she heard the low hum of her collar's heartbeat killer reminding her, now she belonged to them. Outside her cell, Ethan spoke to his people. Tonight she wears our chains. Tomorrow her empire kneels at our feet. Salsara clenched her fists around the bars. For the first time, her laugh was gone, swallowed by chains and shame. The first tears. The air inside the Rebel Canyon base was cold and heavy with the smell of oil, sweat, and hidden fear. Old mining tunnels twisted into secret passageways, lit by stolen lamps. Humans moved through the darkness like ghosts, carrying weapons, whispering codes, guarding every shadow. Deep in the heart of this maze, behind thick iron bars, Lady Salsara lay curled on a dirty blanket. Once she commanded armies. Now she picked dirt from her cracked nails. The cold floor had stolen all warmth from her royal bones. Outside her cell, 2 rebel guards sat playing cards. They laughed softly when they heard her cough. Did she just spit? One asked. The other nodded. Let her spit. She used to spit orders. Now she spits blood. Somewhere above her, Ethan stood in a large cave-turned war room. Maps covered. The walls red pins marking enemy fleets, supply routes, slave camps. Lara argued with a tall rebel captain named Harris. We have her. We must use her now, Lara hissed. Send a message to the Empire. Give us our people back or we feed her to the dirt. Harris shook his head. You think they care about her? She insulted half the royal houses. She is a thorn. They might thank us if we kill her. Ethan listened quietly, arms crossed. Finally he spoke. No, she's worth more alive than dead. Not to them, to us. She knows fleet secrets, trade codes, spy networks. She will talk. She has to. Lara frowned. And if she won't? Ethan's voice was soft, but it cut like steel. Then we remind her what weakness really feels like. Hours later, Ethan walked alone to her cell. The guard stood as he approached. He unlocked the heavy door himself and stepped inside. Salsara lay still, back turned. Her hair was tangled, her royal robe now a blanket for the cold floor. Wake up, Ethan said. She didn't move. He grabbed a metal cup, dipped it into a bucket of clean water and splashed it over her face. She gasped, then hissed at him, her eyes wild. Filthy ape, she spat, water dripping from her hair. You dare. He sat on a small stool, just outside her reach. Yes, I dare. She pushed herself up, shaky but proud. Kill me. Do it now. I'd rather die than smell this pit another day. Ethan leaned forward, elbows on his knees. You will not die today, Lady Salsara. You will live. You will watch your empire bleed until you beg me for mercy. She laughed. It was weak, bitter. I will never beg you. I am a daughter of the Starlight Court. I command worlds. Ethan pulled a small device from his pocket, a battered radio. He turned a dial. Static filled the cell. Then a voice spoke in the alien tongue of the Orlax Empire. Salsara froze. By order of the High Council, Lady Salsara is declared traitor to the crown for failing to protect imperial secrets. Her name is erased. Any who rescue her share her shame. The voice cut off. Ethan turned the radio off and placed it gently on the floor between them. Salsara stared at it. Her lips moved, but no sound came. For the first time, tears welled in her sharp blue eyes. She bit them back, but one slid down her dirty cheek anyway. Ethan watched the tear fall. He said nothing, only studied the broken pieces behind her royal mask. Traitor, she whispered almost to herself. They left me. Ethan spoke quietly, each word a knife. Humans begged you for mercy. You gave them chains. Now your people throw you to rot in ours. She shook her head, trembling. No, no. My brother, Prince Solkar, he will come for me. Ethan slid a file across the floor. A photo paper-clipped to the front showed a young alien noble in fine armor, her brother, lying dead on a cold metal floor, bullet holes through his chest. Rebels had taken the photo the same night they took her. Salksara's breath broke. Her hands clawed at the bars. No. Liar. Liar. Her scream rose, high and ragged, echoing through the tunnels. The guards outside looked at each other, unease stirring in their guts. Inside the cell, Ethan did not flinch. He stood up, stepped close, and looked down at the alien diplomat whose laugh once made kings bow. This is pain, Salksara. Feel it. Wear it. You said humans were weak. But pain is our oldest armor. Yours is still new and sharp. Wear it well. He turned to leave, but she grabbed his boot through the bars. Her chains rattled loud. Tears fell freely now, hot and silent. Please. Ethan, kill me. I beg you. I am nothing now. Nothing. He bent down, voice low so only she could hear. No, Lady Salksara. You are not nothing. You are my message to the stars. You will live until every slave is free and your empire learns human weakness is the sharpest blade. He kicked her hand away gently. Then he locked the cell and walked into the shadows, leaving her sobbing behind iron bars, for the first time, truly broken by the same species she once called soft. Outside her cell, rebel whispers grew louder. She cries now. Yes, and tomorrow the galaxy cries with her. Learning pain. A cold rain fell outside the hidden rebel base. Water dripped from cracks in the stone roof, tapping like slow heartbeats. Deep underground, the tunnels hummed with new life. More rebels arrived every hour, carrying stolen weapons, food, and hope. The humans moved with quiet power now. They no longer looked like slaves. They looked like wolves sharpening teeth in the dark. In her locked cell, Lady Salksara sat with her back against the wall, knees pulled to her chest. Her royal robe was gone, replaced with rough cloth and chain bracelets on her wrists and ankles. Her hair tangled over her face, hiding eyes that no longer held the stars. She heard them whisper her name outside. The monster diplomat, the human butcher, the royal snake who now sat alone, begging for scraps. Ethan entered with Lara at his side. He dropped a small metal plate through the bars. Cold soup. Hard. Bread. No silver. No fine wine. No dancers to feed her grapes. Salksara did not look up. She spoke with a voice so small even Lara had to lean closer to hear. They burn my banners in the cities, don't they? Ethan crouched down, his face inches from the bars. Rainwater dripped from his hair. Yes. Your statues are broken. Your people spit on your name to save their own skin. You are poison now, Salksara. You taught them well. She shivered. Her fingers scraped at the soup bowl like a hungry animal. She caught Ethan watching her and bared her teeth weakly. Do you enjoy this? Lara answered instead, her voice sharp as a knife. Did you enjoy my brother's screams when your guards whipped him? Did you enjoy our fathers dying in mines while you wore diamond crowns? Salksara closed her eyes. She had no more answers for that. Hours passed. Rebels dragged her from her cell, chains rattling down the stone corridors. They tied her to an old mining chair in the main war room, in full view of gathered fighters and ex-slaves. They needed her alive, but they needed her humiliated more. Ethan stood before her, holding a hologram projector. He pressed a button. A live feed filled the air. On the screen, the new alien Lord Governor barked orders at Imperial ships, desperate to crush human uprisings now spreading on 10 planets. Ethan pointed at the feed. Tell us fleet codes, troop numbers, hidden. Supply ports, you have one chance, Salksara. Help us break your empire or we throw you back to them. And trust me, they will not put you back on a throne. They will pull you apart slowly, to show every traitor what loyalty costs. Salksara's cracked lips moved. At first, nothing came out. Then she whispered, hoarse and hollow, Why? Do you even trust my words now? I am a liar, a snake, a beast in silk. Lara stepped forward, eyes bright with hate and pity mixed like poison and honey. She held out a small metal collar remote. We don't trust you. The collar trusts you. Lie to us, betray us, and it stops your heart in seconds. The room fell silent except for the hum of rebel radios. Salksara looked around. Eyes, human, alien defectors, old slaves, all stared at her not with fear anymore, but with hunger for justice. She tasted her own fear on her tongue. Slowly, like a dying star flickering before death, she lowered her head. I will speak. I will help you, I swear it. Ethan nodded to Lara, who handed him a data slate. Salksara's chained hands trembled as she typed code after code, coordinates, patrol times, secret fuel caches hidden in moon caves, each piece a nail in the Empire's coffin. A young rebel boy no older than 12 stood near her chair. His face had burn scars from an Imperial bomb. He asked softly, "Why did you hate us so much?" Salksara lifted her eyes to him, eyes wet and broken. "Because I was taught that fear is power. I laughed when they feared me, but you laugh at my fear now." The boy touched her cold hand. He did not smile. He did not forgive. He simply walked away, stronger than her. For days, Salksara sat chained at the center of rebel strategy meetings. She fed them secrets, breaking her own people bit by bit. Each secret bought her another day of breath, another bowl of soup. Sometimes she tried to remember the taste of royal honey wine, the silk sheets of her palace bed, the sound of noble music. But every time she closed her eyes, she smelled stone, dirt, and rebel sweat. Her world shrank to 3 truths: chains on her wrists, human eyes watching every move, and the heavy knowledge that her greatest pain was feeding the hope of her enemies. Ethan watched her day and night. Once, when they were alone, she asked him through tired tears, "Do you still hate me, human?" Ethan did not smile. His eyes stayed calm, cruel, and distant. "No, Lady Salksara. Hate is mercy. You have not earned mercy yet." One night, hidden under the roar of rebel engines preparing for the next attack, Salksara wept alone, choking her sobs in her thin blanket. Each tear she shed watered the roots of a rebellion stronger than any crown she ever wore. Outside her, cell humans loaded weapons. Their laughter, hard and alive, filled the tunnels. The monster had learned pain, and now the Empire would learn fear. The shift inside night never truly left the hidden rebel base. The tunnel stayed dark, warmed only by the hum of stolen generators and the glow of holographic maps stuck to rough stone walls. But inside those cold caves, the fire of human revenge burned hotter than any sun. Salksara sat cross-legged in her cell, eyes half closed. Her royal mind, once so sharp at politics and poison words, now worked only to stay alive one more day. The chains around her ankles had rubbed her skin raw. Every time she moved, the metal kissed her wounds. But her mind, broken and bruised, was not dead yet. Somewhere inside the ruins of her pride, something small and strange flickered to life. A new understanding. Outside her cell, Ethan and Lara argued in low voices. A few trusted rebel leaders circled them, tired but hungry for blood and victory. "She gave us fleet codes, supply routes. It's not enough anymore," Lara hissed. "We've hit 3 convoys, but they send bigger ones now. She must know more. We push harder." Ethan's eyes stayed locked on the cell door. "She is not a steel gate, Lara. She is a broken lock. Push too hard and she snaps. She talks because she wants to live. If she starts wanting to die again, she stays silent. Then we lose." A grizzled old rebel named Mason, who had lost his whole family to Imperial slave raids, spat on the ground. "Then let her snap. I say we show the prisoners her corpse. Fear works both ways." Ethan's voice turned cold as a winter wind. "Fear does not build a free world, Mason. Fear keeps us monsters like them. She is a tool, not a trophy. And right now she is our sharpest tool." The room fell silent. After a moment, Mason cursed softly and stormed out. Lara crossed her arms but said nothing more. Later, Ethan stepped into Salksara's cell. He carried 2 cups of hot broth. No chains in his hands, no weapon pointed at her head. Salksara did not look up until he sat on the floor across from her. He placed 1 cup near her feet. "Eat," he said simply. She sniffed the steam. Warm chicken broth, stolen from a supply ship her own codes helped capture. She lifted the cup slowly like she half expected poison. Why? Feed me this time. Her voice cracked. Because, Ethan said, sipping his own cup. Tomorrow you will stand before my people and speak. Not from your knees, not chained to a wall. You will stand and tell them how to break your empire forever. Her eyes widened, fear cutting through the fog of her hunger. They will kill me. I have stolen their fathers, their sons. Ethan's gaze did not soften. Yes. Some want you dead. Many want worse. But they need to see you as a thing that can bleed and speak truth. Not a beast hiding behind bars. Salksara hugged the warm cup, shivering. And if I run? Ethan tapped the tiny light on her collar. The same heartbeat killer she'd worn since her capture. Then you die fast, or they kill you slow. So, you won't run. The next night, the main cavern filled with whispers and torchlight. Hundreds of humans, scarred and hungry for a tomorrow, stood shoulder to shoulder. Alien defectors mixed. Among them, warriors from minor houses who hated the Orlax throne almost as much as the humans did now. At the front, a makeshift stage of old shipping crates. Ethan climbed it first. Beside him, Salksara shuffled forward. Her chains were gone, but the collar glowed bright on her neck. Her eyes flicked over the crowd, every pair staring back at her with hatred sharp enough to peel her skin. Ethan raised his hands. Brothers, sisters, tonight you stand with a weapon sharper than any blade or blaster. You stand with her secrets. He pointed at Salksara. She wears no chains tonight, because your rage is chain enough. She fears you more than she fears death. Listen, and decide her fate yourselves. After her words serve you first. Salksara stepped up. Her breath trembled in her throat. The human boy from days before, the scarred child who once touched her cold hand, now sat on his father's shoulders, watching her like a ghost judge. Salksara spoke. Voice low at first, but clear. I am Lady Salksara, last diplomat of the Orlax court. I was taught to break you, control you, make your children, serve my throne. A murmur of hate rose. A few rocks hit her feet, but she did not flinch. I have given them your fleet routes, hidden food stores, secret prisoner camps. I will give you more. Not because I am loyal to you, but because your mercy broke my hate. Your chains broke my pride. Now, I break my own empire, so no more. Children watch their fathers die in my mines. She looked at the boy. No more children like him. The cavern stayed dead silent for a heartbeat that felt like forever. Then, slowly, the silence broke. Not with cheers, but with quiet nods. Heads lowering, eyes softening just enough to let her words sink in. One old woman, her arms missing from an imperial factory accident, whispered loud enough for many to hear. Let her live, make her bleed secrets, then let the stars judge her later. Back in her cell, Salksara lay awake. For the first time in her life, she did not dream of power or crowns or cold halls of gold. She dreamed of a little boy's eyes forgiving her enough to let her help save him. Outside her door, Ethan stood guard all night, not to keep her from running, but to make sure no one cut her throat before she could finish destroying her own empire from within. The shift inside her was complete. She no longer feared humans because they were weak. She feared them because their mercy was sharper than any sword her empire had ever forged.